Hey, what's going on, Freedomers? All right, so stop soul searching and start soul digging. One, because I believe when you're searching for something, usually you go a long time trying to find it. You're trying to find instructions. You're trying to listen and hear other voices, etc., etc. And you're trying to find a map when you're searching for something, in my opinion. You don't need to search; it's already there. So usually, your mind is like a it's like to go to the second point. Your mind is like is like the soil, and Earl Nightingale would say. So your soil is already made rich. You just gotta dig. That means you gotta get your hands dirty. That means you gotta get your clothes dirty and do long days, long hours. Have very long days and have very long hours of work and study on how to get this, on how to dig this dirt and get to that gold. Stop ignoring the value of of the gold, or someone else will see it, steal it from you, and get it and get it less than it's worth. So that fourth point explains that. Meaning, no, actually, no. The third point means know its value. Once you discover the gold, meaning once you dig through the long hours of dirt to get to the gold, know what it's worth, or people will get it for less than it's worth from you. And then when somebody knows its worth and they sell it for more, and you don't get a profit, that's your fault. Stop having others fall in love with your hands, and your hand that they don't see your heart. And what that means is I had to recently cut a relationship off because she was so in love with my I trained her to be so in love with my hand that she did not see where my heart was coming from. So by the time, like I said in point number 3, by the time she stole it from me and saw it when she tried to steal it from me and sell it for more than it's worth, and use me for more than it's worth, I thank God I started to see my worth. Or she would have stole it from me, and I would have got less than it's worth, and she would have profited off of it. A lot of us are in predicaments like that where others are profiting off of our gold, and we don't know the value of it. Stop having others fall. Yeah. So with parenting, develop healthy hearts as much as you develop a pair of develop a pair of healthy hands. Like any parent could feed you, clothe you, bathe you, put a roof over your head. That's what their hands do. But if you give a child help do if you give a child something with your hands that look clean but they're really dirty, but you poison their heart with your words, your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and you make them develop low self-esteem, but you give them all the pretty things that hands can give them, it's imbalanced, and sometimes it's not as important because you'll realize the heart. If you give your child a healthy heart, they'll always find the things that the hands can provide. And with and relationships, like I said earlier, with a relation that has a cutoff, is do yourself a service and have people fall in love with your heart, not your material needs. Because, like I said, with a righteous heart, you can always find what the hands bring, and sometimes that's the biggest disguise in the world. And you have to do this with self first. So I'm learning to give myself my heart's desire and my heart's fulfillment. So as I give the world my hands, I know the value of what my hands bring. And then 5, soul digging requires a great listener or silent, because listen is silent backwards, or silent mixed up, excuse me. And yeah, it requires a great listener. So you might you might dig through the dirt, but sometimes it requires listening to see what tools you need, and maybe listening to others for certain perspective, because they dig the gold of their own mind, and they found it, but it requires a great listener so you could know where to go next. So stop soul searching and start soul digging.